Oh, yeah. Welcome out, everybody, to that Boom Bap Breakfast right here on Black Power Media. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And let me introduce you to your host today, Riot Starter TV's only Lanji Jama Changa.
This goes out to you. What's happening, y'all? Remix Morning Show in the building. It look like everybody playing hooky. You got the Ear Doctor now, telling what could go down in situations like this. Let's just say that. What's good, party people? Hope everybody's well. How you doing, Mr. Ear Doctor?
I'm doing great, man. Had a good weekend. Very eventful weekend. You know
eventful.
What I mean? Went out and partied till like 3 a.m. Friday night with some friends. Which, had a wedding this weekend I had to do. And speaking of, that's why I make Sundays. Appreciate all y'all coming out for Sundays. I didn't do it this Sunday because I had the wedding. But
what happened?
You ready for this?
I'm listening.
This Sunday is going down. Street knowledge.
Okay.
We're gonna do it up.
Rap. Okay.
That's right. Rock M and Cool G Rap. Let's get it.
Okay. Shout out to Polo and Eric B as well.
You know what I'm saying? DJ Polo.
The DJs. How you gonna forget the DJs, man? What up with that?
Hey, you right. But I was just thinking how like at that time we had street and we had that knowledge rap. And like those two was like on the Mount Rushmore of the rap. So it's like with them two back and forth, you getting both of it. You know what I mean? So
they definitely brought the lyrics you talking about, in particularly the 80s, and the 90s, but definitely, I mean, of course, we remember the time when, the top three was, Rakim, Cool G Rap, and Big Daddy Kane. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's before the Jay-Z, Biggie, and Nas, but, of course, folks forgot about that because
they better get together. How was your weekend, man?
Man, it was, I'm here. Let's just say that.
Y'all had some dope shows, man. Y'all have been doing some dope interviews, I must say.
Man, I mean, the thing with that is beautiful. I think the thing I like about it is just having the opportunity to speak to folks that I respect and that I came up with, and just sharing that, because I think that sometimes with this whole social media internet situation, we miss the whole sitting at the feet of the elders type program. So I'm getting a lot of folks requesting that they come on and stuff like that, but I'm gonna keep it 100, man. You gotta be a certain caliber, man, to come up on Riot Starter TV, man. That's what I expect. I ain't trying to diss nobody. I'm just saying, man, we gotta, I mean, we gotta put in our dues, man. We gotta earn our stripes around here, man. I think that the internet has jacked people up so much that you feel like just because you got a mouth you can speak.
Facts.
But we need some of that traction, need some of that footwork, that leg work. There ain't no disrespect to nobody. I'm just saying.
It's a real disconnect without having like the elders around to get some knowledge from them. You know what I mean? And
true indeed.
We pretty much lost it. It's like I can't front. I haven't been around a lot of elders in my age coming up, and a lot haven't stepped up. I don't know if it's been not being in the same area, but who is in the area?
Man, look here, man. Hope it's my sister. Oh. What's happening, Sister Africa?
How's it going?
Man, listen, we're live on Arrival. We was just talking about, you and I being the youth on the Remix Morning Show. You know what I'm saying? We learning from these elders. How about that?
Right.
What's your weekend look like, Tierney?
Last weekend? Oh gosh.
It's almost a new weekend. What you talking about?
Forgetting it's Tuesday.
I know, it's so like far away. Just chilling, Netflix, chilling with the family. Not much going on here. It was cold. I wanted to go out to the beach, but it's just too cold, so I just stayed inside.
Break City. Yo, I'll let y'all get to it. I'll catch you on the break.
Look at that. He just dipped off on us real quick. That's all right, Tierney. Yeah. But good to see you this morning.
Good to see you.
How's African Esquire been, the show and everything, and We Charge Genocide. How's it been going on?
We charge organization. We charge colonialism. Everything's going good. We're still, pushing this convention that we're doing with, a number of organizations, such as PAC of Azania and All African People's Revolutionary Party, and we're really trying to get us to focus on our global commonality of being a colonized people and focusing on what we need to do to really abolish neocolonialism. And so that's what we're trying to raise awareness for. So if anyone's interested, the convention is July 21st through the 23rd. You can go on our website. If you click the AUMD tab on the top of the website, there's the link to the registration, all that information. So that's a big thing that we're pushing right now as an organization.
No doubt. Give us that website again, because that's important.
WeChargeColonialism.org.
WeChargeColonialism.org. Mm-hmm. That's necessary. And I appreciate the work you all are doing, because to me, nothing's more important than organization when you talk about revolution. If you don't have the right, hold up, man, who's this cat right here trying to, speaking of organization and production, trying to creep up on our production. What's good, J-Ball?
What's going on, good people? I just saw we were a little late. I figured I'd jump in and help out a little bit before class.
Okay.
Good morning, Tierney. Good to see you. I don't get to rock with Tierney that much anymore, so I figured I just
How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
Man,
I'm good.
Tierney slides in every now and then. She stops through and say she gotta say, drop the mic and
log into work.
No doubt.
That's how it is. That's how it's going to be for me today too.
No doubt.
Just drop some mics and then go to work.
We appreciate that. Dope show yesterday too, J-Ball.
No, likewise, man. I appreciate that. We had the reality of Dr. King well covered on this channel, and I did peek around, and I think once again BPM stood alone yesterday.
Look here, man. And what I appreciate, my man, is that we tackle things from a different angle. Mm-hmm. We hear so many people that when they talk about Dr. King, they always talk about he was a sellout and he was soft and this and that. Man, listen, I couldn't imagine, and I'm pro, without a doubt, armed struggle. I'm pro, resistance, but for anyone to be bold enough and brave enough, you cannot have possibly walked through Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, the Carolinas, and places like that, and face aggression and racism and colonialism and not respect a cat like Dr. King and some of these other folks who, decided to take the measures and tactics that they took, man. I mean, I think that was that's an amazing feat. Shout out to all those folks who were brave enough to stand up, and resist, against these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no question. And shout out to all the remixers. We appreciate you appreciating what we're trying to do, and yes, please keep helping us expand.
Yes.
But no doubt, no question. I mean, Dr. King is to be fully respected, and maybe we can come back to it at some point, because there was in watching what you and Dr. Small talked about yesterday. There was something that was said that I don't want to say I disagree with, but I want to raise a question about, because I'm not sure I fully because I was struggling through the work of Loggins and Douglas, and what they were saying about King and his politics. And when Dr. Small said something about King doing a version of nationalism by being focused on having the Black community take control over its economics and politics, I'm not entirely sure that's what King was on. And I don't know. Yeah. So I think, anyway, so but the real point is that I appreciate, as you were saying, the breadth that we were able to offer yesterday collectively. But I do think it's an interesting question to raise again, and I think we should do that at some point. Maybe when I have the question more fully formed and all of that. But first, and then I'll stop here. People have to go watch your interview with Dr. Small, and then I would appreciate if they checked out what I did yesterday, and then we could all come back and have that full discussion at some point.
No doubt. And I unite with what you're saying. I think to me, when it comes to economics, the most potent part of that particular struggle or era, to me, the most fascinating thing was the whole Montgomery boycott situation, the bus boycott, because again, folks right now, King said that people had an 8-day memory. You know what I'm saying? Of course, right now it's like 8 minutes unless the media is shoving it down your throat. But for you to um, refuse and boycott and protest and say that we're not getting on these buses and we're going to make whatever provisions that we have to in order to get around. I mean, shit, our people nowadays, they ain't boycott means, for this show or for this event, we're going to boycott the NFL.
I was literally just talking about this on the radio yesterday for the Kaba station in DC, because we were talking about the Oscars boycott and how, if you look at what's happening with the Smiths right now, they were just talking about boycotting the Oscars and they're right back. You look at Colin Kaepernick, he was just, talking about how, this is a racist plantation and all this stuff. And now he's trying to get back in NFL, and everyone forgot that they were supposed to be protesting the NFL. It's really like today, boycotts are just an insult to the boycotts of the past. No one boycotts with the intention of an indefinite, I'm going to make this sacrifice deal with it. I'm not going to watch football, which is really hard for some people.
Right.
But it's a short-term memory with this generation. I think also we look for the response to be a certain way. And if the response doesn't go our way because we want instant gratification, then we quickly want to go off to the next thing. And so unfortunately, we kind of took on like a social media type of response to boycotts and want to go with the trends and not go with the long-term effort that goes with actually seeing something through.
Right. No, that you right on with that, man. And I think part of that too, to add on with this, and I hate to even say this generation because, truthfully, I know some folks who are my age who never had a quote unquote voice, but now all of a sudden they step up and it's like, I'm Mr. Revolutionary and I'm Mrs. Such and such. And I'm like, look, motherfucker, I've been knowing you 30 years. You ain't do jack shit. It sounds real good on the mic and in front of the computer and all that, but in the real world, you know what I'm saying? So I struggle. Part of my thing, even with just being on this, and I'm not gonna say this platform, but just being on this type of platform, as far as just the whole looking at the computer and the chat, and I love our chat and all that. But I think that the thing that I appreciated about coming up in movement was you actually had to sit down, listen, articulate, and wait to inject your opinion, because I think nowadays folks will disagree before they even get an understanding of what the fuck you're talking about. It's just like, I don't agree with that. You can't possibly form an opinion if you haven't really heard some shit out, or you haven't experienced it. For example, when we're talking about walking through the South is a tad bit different when it's dark, when there's no fucking light poles and it's nothing but trees, and you can smell and feel in the air how thick this oppression is, how thick racism is, and so on and so forth. I think that, again, being someone that is organized all over, it is a different type of feeling. It is a total different type of feeling. And I'm from the hood, I'm from the projects, and I've organized all over the place in projects and all that shit, but it ain't got jack shit on some of these crackers that still feel like they own you. And they know they can trace their lineage back to when their grandfather owned your grandfather, or whatever the case, so on and so forth. So, it's just, trying to ease through this, move through this, and navigate through this whole new era, for lack of better words.
Hey, and speaking of navigating,
yes,
we gotta maneuver through these DJ turntable streets. And where is he?
I'm in the A. I'm in the A. We just had a 404 day, Atlanta day the other day. So yeah, that's that. But I was over here wondering how Jared would act if soccer was boycotted for all the racism.
Oh, I'm down with it. I'm with all the boycotts. I'm with all the boycotts.
Jared will
Bring
be
it,
over
But
there.
bring
you
it.
know,
David,
but
like,
thankfully,
no
world football is perfect. There are no problems worth boycotting. in world
yeah,
football, so.
right. That's one of the most racist sports.
No, they sit right on the sideline and call you out your name.
Yeah,
That's how they do it there. Now it's terrible, man.
yeah. But you could appreciate it though, because at least you
Hey,
know. Hey, I
them
would
drunk
much
white
rather.
boys sit right on the edge of the field.
Yeah, yeah. I like it like that. You know what I'm saying? I need to feel it. You know what I'm saying? I need. Yeah. So just in case, you know, you then afterwards you can explain to me where you know me from, because I'm the cat that I'm down to jump in the stands. Like what we talking about here? What's that all about? You know what I'm saying?
They go Ron
fuck all that. Yeah.
Well, yo, I can't give you all the weather report, so let me go ahead and get to it. No, we do it.
Right on. Remix.
Yes, sure.
All right. Welcome out, everybody. Once again, this is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And while you're here, please make sure y'all hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And then hit that notification bell so you can know when all the dope shows and new things are coming out right here on Black Power Media. Now, also go to patreon.com, become a member, go to Black Power Media and drop some chains in the bucket, because we love it. With that said, let's go ahead and give you that weather. All right, so where we going to start off today within the weather? Let's start off in Tuskegee, Alabama. Big up to Tuskegee. I got to go to Tuskegee a couple times and do some shows back in my rapping days. They got a high today of 69 degrees. 69 degrees. I actually used to stay in Montgomery, Alabama for a minute. I had to get about it. It was too slow. All right, next, let's take it to Buffalo, New York. Big up to Buffalo. They got a high today of 59 degrees. 59 degrees in Buffalo, New York. Next, let's take it over to Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles, California. Yeah, we're going to go there. Why did I pick Los Angeles? Because tonight I am going to go see Pharcyde perform. That's right. Pharcyde is from Los Angeles, so we're going to take it back there. They got a high today of 78 degrees. Next, we're going to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's right. San Juan, Puerto Rico, they got a high today of 85 degrees. And next, we're going to go to Darwin, Australia. That's right, Darwin. I wonder if that's where the theory... Anyway, they got a high today of 82 degrees. And next, we're going to take you to Yola, Nigeria. That's right, Yola, Nigeria. They have a high today of 109 degrees. Woo! That's hot. That is crazy. But I'll tell you what else is crazy. Man, let me tell you about this brother right here. No, not that brother right there. Let's talk about this brother right here. He goes by the name of Mikel Morrow, also known as Gnu. He actually, this is what happened. This is his picture when he is at a nightclub called Bliss Nightclub. The guy is dead. That's right. He's been bombed. And they stood him up, put a crown on him, put some clothes on him, and they threw a party while he stood right there at the party. The memorial service took place several weeks ago after the 24-year-old was fatally shot in District Heights, Maryland. Prince George County Police found the up-and-coming rapper suffered from a gunshot wound in the parking lot. And yeah, pretty much dead. Taken to a nearby hospital and pronounced dead. Now, the club was charging $40 and saying this was his final show. I'm just saying, we live in a wild world, y'all. Big up to that brother. Rest in peace. Good news. All right. With that said, we're going to take it back to the morning show. You know how we do. All right. All right.
Yeah, yo, I can't claim that I knew him or his music, but I did hear about that story, and it's just, and in fact, I heard about it from Hassan Campbell's channel, and while Hassan gets all into like the mysticism and the Illuminati kind of, you know, what I think is silly, he does, I think, do a good job of bringing attention to all these young, mostly black kids in hip hop who are doing too much, taking it too far, and being encouraged to do it.
Well, this right
Isn't
here,
that African tradition when it comes to funerals and having them for going on for months and still bringing the body to the funeral?
I know, like they have the funeral like way after the person died, and it's like a week-long, you know, event.
They just don't charge $40 and say it's their last show.
Well, the point I was getting at it to Campbell's point is that these kids are being too quick to pull triggers on each other, and to use their lyrics and their music to attract that attention, and then to boast about the act after the fact. So it's and I think that's what he was saying this young man was caught up in, and you know, so anyway, it's just terrible. But yeah, I don't know about, you know, all the
what I read about the story, they were saying that you know, it wasn't something that the family planned, and the funeral home had connected with the club, and somehow, you know, that took place. I know the club issued apologies, folks was upset about it, you know, so on and so forth. So it wasn't, it didn't have anything to do with ritual or tradition.
No.
I think that, yeah, I think that oftentimes, man, we have, I don't know, man, it's like just what Jared was saying about young folks quick to shoot each other in that type of situation. It's like this whole mindset of immortalizing and I mean, it's a sick state of mind altogether. You know what I mean? And I'm not even going to just blame it on this generation. I think we're seeing more folks, particularly in hip hop or rap, and in most of the cases, we don't even know these people's names, but we're seeing more of that because that goes along with the prestige, the persona. You know what I'm saying? You know, I talked to some young folks that look forward to having their face on a t-shirt or their name on a wall, that type of situation, you know, and it's a sad state of reality, but we got to mix in, we got to add on some of the other things that are at play here, some of the types of drugs, and, you know, I mean, it's a whole nother level right now.
Yeah. I think social media definitely has been, you know, it's had a negative effect definitely on something that already, like the violence in the communities, because now there's like another level to, I'm going to brag on this and that. And I think the big thing that's different now is that we don't really see like a lot of hope, you know, for as a people. Like if you look at the kind of like we were talking about before, like whether it's the organizational structures and whatnot, we don't really have a lot to look to. And you know, I love Dr. Amos Wilson's. He has the book Black on Black Violence, and he gives a very poignant analysis that really, whenever it comes to interracial violence, it's really not about, some people say it's just poverty, some people say it's just no daddy in the home. Like there's all these like prescriptions for it. But he says that, you know, these are things you can find in a lot of other places that don't have necessarily the same rate of violence. It's really about self-alienation. Like the quote unquote Black on Black criminal feels self-alienated, has no belief in that he can actually strike back at the system that's causing all of our havoc. Whereas in other times we might have thought we can actually strike back, you know, more and more. I think this generation who has like seen things play over and over again, and has seen like such a downturn as far as organizational activity, doesn't necessarily see the path to striking back. And so that's a really good book. I would just suggest anyone read if you want to look at like a psychological aspect of like what is causing these types of things.
No doubt. And real quick, that's your weather report for the day. I'll catch y'all next break.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with what you were saying, Tierney. And I always agree with Dr. Amos Wilson for the most part. but also we have to factor in that we're talking about, again, each generation is changing. It's a whole nother level. And I think that a lot of the tools and weapons and things that are in existence right now, weren't here, back in the day or whatever. So we have to take it, we got to flip it, we got to maneuver it and make it do what it do. I work with youth. We have a youth group, Siafu Youth Corps. And, just from speaking to many of them, I mean, again, it's I don't even want to say misplaced aggression. I think that, we want warriors, quote unquote. But when you have warriors who haven't been trained, then you have potential parasites. You have potential, I'm trying to word this right, because I definitely don't want to sound like I'm coming from the right side of things. You know what I mean? But there's so many different variables. And I think that, we can insert our opinions, but we really have to get out and speak to the people themselves to get an understanding. Because I think that a lot of times we theorize and we come up with these, thoughts and what I believe and so on and so forth, but we don't deal directly with the people. And that's one of the issues I had with a number of folks who talk about town hall meetings, but they never invite the community to these town hall meetings. You have Professor so-and-so and Dr. such and such and Reverend this one and all that shit. But at the end of the day, the people who are directly affected and impacted aren't invited to the table. You know what I mean? Me, I decided long ago, I'm not looking to have a town hall meeting if it's not in the hoods that we're talking about the issues existing. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want to bring your ass to where the people are, then shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion,
All right, well, Kalonji just slapped the hell out of that issue. He Will Smith the issue. So we're going to Will Smith this map and get to some of these news stories.
Smack it the map.
Hey, just real quick, welcome back to the Remix Morning Show. I just want to say shout out to all the Black counseling psychologists out there doing the work that supplements what Kalonji's talking about, and who support their fellow faculty who have to end up being counseling psychologists in some small roles elsewhere. So shout out to all of that, because the only youth I deal with on the most part are college students, and they're struggling. There's a lot of trauma out there. There's a lot of suffering going on that they have built up over the years. So shout out to all of them. And
shout out to the future Bobby E. Wrights, because we need more Dr. Bobby E. Wrights, and we need, as Tierney mentioned, more Dr. Amos Wilsons, because we know they're out there, but being vocal these days is like, you're being buried. But can I just say something real quick? Because I'm doing Dr. Jared Ball right now. I hopped in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell y'all motherfuckers something real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because some of y'all be hopping on Black Power Media like something sweet or soft. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk about what we ain't talking about, what we don't do. The fuck out of here. We do it. We put it in. Ain't nobody messing with us on that. So stop smoking that bad bud. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Get up on it if you're gonna be up on it. But don't be trying to come over here trying to chump us. Anyway, now back to you, Tierney.
No, ditto. I see him out there in the chat too. Ditto.
Man, like we some suckers or something, man.
But
fuck out of here.
And also quickly, another shout out, because I admit it's my responsibility. I missed the panel yesterday, but shout out to the people who text you after the panel asking where you were.
Yeah, that part, right?
I was like, why do you didn't text me at the beginning? You saw I wasn't there anyway. Yeah. All right. To something serious.
The love, right?
I was like, you texted me. They're like, where were you? Why you asked where I'm at the beginning? Anyway.
Oh, well, at least they asked where you were. I mean, with me, I get invited and they don't really want me to speak. The people want you to speak, but they be like, brother, you only got 2 minutes. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna talk for 2 minutes about how I'm gonna take 10 minutes. But anyway, let's go. Sorry about that.
All right, so I'm going to start off. I would talk about. I talked about this last week on African Esquire on WCC TV. Trying to share my screen. I don't know why it's not working. Let me try again. 1 second.
Oh wait, no, do that again. I saw. I can pull it. We just need to put it up on the who'd-you-call it.
Okay, you got it.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, I thought this is just an interesting contrast when it comes to European societies, especially because for some reason, like maybe 10 years ago, there was this rumor going around that Europe's not racist or whatever. And of course, this is like ignoring colonialism. But right now, France is having an election. This guy, he's not one of the top candidates, but his name's Zemmour. He has threatened to seize African leaders' assets if they don't take back their immigrants. And I thought it's very interesting to see the contrast. You know, we see obviously in the U.S., we're not necessarily the brunt of the rhetoric, although we know there are Haitian immigrants and other African immigrants who are actually negatively impacted. Usually people, when they think about immigration in the U.S., they're thinking Mexicans or some type of Latin American. The same type of rhetoric, you know, you see being used in Europe against African immigrants, because obviously there's this flood of immigration trying to flee war-torn, you know, impoverished, highly colonized and privatized countries. And so they're trying to, a lot of times, try to flee into Europe. And of course, the big thing that you want to do if you're a presidential candidate inside of a country that's facing a flood of Africans coming into the country is you want to make that, you know, the thing that's going to be your pitch, you know, especially if you're like a right-wing candidate. So this is a right-wing candidate, Eric Zemmour. He just said something really interesting. So he said that let me scroll down some, sorry. So if, let's say, like, he's trying to basically round up a lot of Africans, create a special bureau inside of France that's going to deal with immigration. And he said, well, what if the African heads of state refuse to basically take back their citizens? He said that they have homes in France. We could seize them, you see. There are a number of foreigners who send money through Western Union. That's an important part of the budgets of these countries. We can block them. I call those ways to put pressure. I just think it's interesting if you think about like Brexit, how when it came to really the conservative movement inside of the UK and also in other European countries, we kind of become the brunt of the election slogan when it comes to African immigration. They're not, now I'm not necessarily against, you know, most of these African leaders that have assets inside of France got it inside of France ways that are robbing the people, if not all. So it's not like I'm sympathetic to the leaders that they're threatening to possibly seize their assets, but at the same time, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, you would never have the audacity to say that against any other type of nationality. You would never have the audacity to say that to the Ukrainians, you know, that are flooding inside of France right now. So it's the hypocrisy, obviously. It's also the vow conditions that our people have to live under. I think that's one thing that we don't appreciate, is that even when they do get inside of a European country, if they are able to somehow, you know, escape immigration authorities, the inhumane treatment and just the racism inside of these countries is just something else. And so it's definitely something I think we should just keep in mind. You know, those of us who want to believe that if you go to Europe, it's some type of post-racial society. It's never been, and it's never going to be as long as we are inside of this colonized position.
Hey man, I thought we were in Europe over here, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you know, of course, I mean, propaganda is going to tell you whatever you need to hear or whatever they need you to hear. You know, so I mean, I'm always amazed when folks talk that bullshit, even with Obama, with the whole post-racial America and all that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these buzzwords and damn near punchlines, because you know it's comical to an extent. You know, it's like, I mean, come on, man. I mean, like,
if I can, I would like to fold in what really wasn't a story I had this morning, but something I was just tagged in that I'm just noticing now on Instagram that seems oddly relevant. So just very quickly, someone on Instagram, I was tagged in a comment, but on Instagram did a poll asking a child with one black parent and one white parent, and then they gave the options of is either black, white, or biracial, and they were trying to see how people, categorize either themselves or others, and it's fascinating. And the poster says of the 64 responses that they got, 14% said the person is black, 1.5% said the person is white, and 82% said the person is biracial. And in just reading the commentary, because one of the variables that I don't think was checked for is where in the world this was being assessed. So the reason I'm connecting it to what Tierney is bringing up here is that there seems to be, and this is not scientific, I'm just looking through the comments very quickly. It's definitely an issue I'd like to come back to. But the comments seem to suggest that more of the hesitance towards that person being identified as black are coming from Africans in the diaspora and in Europe, and in the on the continent, rather on the continent and in Europe, not from the United States. That's what it. So I'm wondering if this is an issue of the one drop rule or the specifics of the colonial experience in this part of the world. But then there is then this one comment. Anyway, so I just was wondering, this idea that Europe is post-racial, yet it is still not only participating in the colonialism of the past in updated form, but participating in the creation, so to speak, of this
facade,
biracial whatever, but is also causing a response from the African community in that world that is suggesting that there is no acceptance into that European identity, regardless of, in other words, they're saying you may not be producing a black child if you have a biracial or an interracial relationship with a European, but you're definitely not creating a European. In other words, so the idea that we're post-racial when all of these issues are still coming up all around the world is laughable to me.
Yeah.
The same kinds of, anyway, so I don't clearly have it fully formed yet, but it just seemed like there was an overlap there that so anyway,
race is interesting in Europe. I've never been to Europe. I don't honestly plan to ever go to Europe. But just from like observation, it does seem like, as far as media, like there's like a clear like assimilationist type of campaign, like that is more accepted there than, whereas here it's like not so accepted. So you clearly see like a lot of the European actors who are like in interracial relationships have interracial children, and you see like that being typical, like more than even in the US. I mean, that's something I've just noticed for a while. But I do think that more and more like Africans inside of the European experience are having a voice, because there's a lot who I think have been shut out. I remember I was on Brother Shaka Raj's show one time, and he was asking, why do you feel like African Americans like don't really pay attention to what's going on in Europe when it comes to racism and police brutality, but whenever something happens over here, like everyone in the whole world kind of like just backs us up. I'm like, honestly, like I don't know of a black civil rights leader. Like I don't know of, and this, this is not the person that we love, obviously, but I don't know of a black Al Sharpton inside of the UK, or I don't know of like a black, Jesse Jackson or, Benjamin Crump. Like I don't know those people. Like I've never seen someone present themselves like that. And he's like, yeah, there's people like that here, but honestly, they don't get the same type of institutional support that they would in America. So it's an interesting contrast. I like looking at the different.
I also think it's that what happens in the U.S. in general gets more attention around the world, just period. Oh, yeah. So, as opposed to vice versa. And more people outside of the U.S. know about what's happening here than people here know about what's happening here. And certainly more than people here know about what's happening there. The U.S. is, again, the most isolated and propagandized, I think, society in the world. And what happens with Black people also gets projected out into the world more than it would be from other parts of the African diaspora. So because of being in the the metropole, the dominant superpower. That's really what it is.
Right. And I think that's real interesting that here it is, this quote unquote superpower that happens to be 5% of the world population, has such a stronghold on media and propaganda. You know what I mean? I mean, it's amazing how, folks look at it like it's like it has to be, especially Europeans in particular, they look at it like this has to be the law, it's the rule, because it's come from, it came from the US, and, the US is just such, I mean, I'm always floored and just somewhat baffled that, a turd this small can stop up, you know what I'm saying, stop up the toilet of humanity. You know what I'm saying? You talking about, I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's wild, just the control and the domination and the power. But then again, I guess we can't be surprised when you have such a serious police/military state that pretty much forces itself on the planet. It reminds you of the little bully in school that happened to pick up a gun. You understand what I'm saying? This one gun can cause so much terror. And that's what America is. That's what the US is, just this bully with the guns. You know what I'm saying? So you got to deal with them, because if you're not willing to get as violent and ruthless as they are, then, you just won't win.
Hey, my bad, forgive me for this, but this one pinned comment on that Instagram post that I'm talking about is like, I really do. I think we got to have some more discussions about this. The comment says, as a monoracial Black person, I find it almost off-putting when biracials identify as Black, because the reality isn't the same. No matter how much they see us as Black propaganda is pushed. Quite frankly, biracials identifying as Black has been more of a support for white supremacy rather than a hindrance. Wow. So anyway, go ahead.
If we were to gauge, like, let's say we looked at this thing from the current state of electoral politics, right? It's like, in order for you to have a quote unquote high position in this particular, it's almost like it's fashionable right now. You have to have a European mate. You know what I'm saying? You look at Katanji. You look at say it again.
Kamala. But see, that wouldn't have worked for Obama, though. See, that's where
it did, because what it was, you got to remember who his parents.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't have been president if he didn't have a white parent.
I mean, remember, he didn't.
No. But I'm saying, but he had to have a Black wife.
Of course, because that was, I mean, that was, you had to usher it in a certain way in order to make it happen. He wouldn't have been Obama if he didn't have Michelle. You understand what I'm saying? He had to be, you had to position, you had to, in order for neocolonialism to be accepted, you have to be able to have some type of identity. You got to be able to identify it with some fashion and form. Now, the crazy thing about it is, we don't really identify with him outside of, quote unquote, the cultural shit that he engages in. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't say that he is of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Or in the culture. I would say that, he dances around the culture and he knows what to do. I think that if you really look at him and you look at Biden, their similarities outweigh their differences, because, Biden has to come along and he has to, bring in a Black woman, but she has to have a white man. You understand what I'm saying? That's been his whole play. But then with Obama, it's like you had this picture of Blackness. You have, the beautiful Black wife and the Black children, and you know what I'm saying, and everything's just like, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
My stance on that is basically, first of all, I don't think anyone can tell anyone biracial you can't identify as white or no, as black. I don't tell anyone who's a biracial how to identify though. So if someone tells me they're biracial, I'm like, okay, go be biracial. If they tell me they're black, then absolutely black. I do get irritated sometimes when you see people who are biracial and do identify as black acting like they have it harder because, you know, you have to also identify your privilege. Like, you know, for example, consistently when it comes to politics or when it comes to different institutions, you know, just lighter skinned people. I mean, I think we could agree on that. Lighter skinned people, you're going to have a different experience than a dark black person. You're going to have that different experience. So when they act like there's no difference, that does irritate me. But my stance is, if you identify as African, which you are, then absolutely you should be looked at as that. But if someone who wants to, if you're biracial and you say I identify more with my white side, I'll let you go.
I just think, I don't know. I don't have my thoughts fully formed on this, but I think that just some of the ideas that are floating around for me are just, I'm wondering to what extent. I feel like there's been a shift in this in my lifetime. So I haven't, again, you know, I've read a couple reports, a couple studies suggesting a number of different things and reasons why that shift might have occurred in terms of the acceptance of the one drop rule in the United States. I do know it's wildly, it's the polar opposite in Latin America, where the one drop rule is entirely reversed, which creates a whole other dynamic. And just personally, I think it's sometimes interesting, fascinating, and sometimes frustrating just in my own travels. I mean, literally you know, where I am at the beginning of the flight is very different from the end of the flight. And it's, you know, but at the same time, like, I get, I do have some bias and some visceral reactions to some of this, obviously, but I also I don't know. I don't know. I'd also like to get to the politics behind the comments. You know, that's the other thing with these polls and these Instagram type things. Like, what is the political perspective driving that comment? Right. But anyway, it's just I don't know. I just think that there needs to be more discussion, because privately, I don't want to make it too personal, but I get a lot of wild reactions to my own presence in the mix, so to speak, pun intended. And
after I mix what I like. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And you know, but also, you know, but after, again, that visceral reaction is this genuine curiosity that I have as to where these various views are coming from and what drives them. Right. And I don't know, personally, I'd like to look more into that. But anyway, I think we as a platform with our politics, I think we do need to have more conversations about all of this, because I feel like, you know, our important perspectives are going to be lacking in some of these broader discussions I see happening. Anyway,
and I agree with you. I think that again, you know, if you don't know the author, you don't know what you're reading. And like you said, what's the reasoning behind it? Because, you know, we have to always keep in mind that we are under a controlled environment. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we forget that when it comes to capitalism and when it comes to imperialism, it is necessary to control every aspect of the quote unquote victim or subject's life. You have to control every particular aspect. So even polls on social media, we have to be careful. Like, what is the meaning behind this? I mean, is it a drive to further divide? You know what I'm saying? Because we're coming up with all of this shit, you know what I'm saying, to dismantle and to weaken and to, you know what I'm saying, and to ultimately destroy the morale and the drive of certain people. So we get caught up again in the sidetracking of the slave. Oh, you ain't black if you this, or you ain't this right here. Or the other shit we love is it's a class issue. You understand what I'm saying? everything's not necessarily about class. You know what I'm saying? It's about control. It's about domination. It's about, at the end of the day, who's going to run shit. You know what I mean? So black, white, whatever the hell you choose to call yourself, you know what I mean? It's how are the people responding to you? How are you being viewed? You know, because, you know,
social media is just COINTELPRO to me. So, you know, I feel like, you know, we can't look at that social media posts as representations of our reality. Because like you pointed out, I mean, I don't even see necessarily an intentional effort to divide people who are multiracial from their African identity as much as I do from people who are African American and African diasporans. Like that's like very intentional, and I'm very convinced that a lot of it is being driven by bots that are not, you know, neutral. So, you know, I'm very careful when it comes to social media, you know, how I let that take my perspective as far as what's actually happening and what's being drummed up as propaganda.
Yeah.
No, my problem is that the discussion in that thread I'm looking at mirrors a lot of what ends up in my classroom. So that's why it is resonating with me. There's a lot on it. I didn't, you know, obviously read that, but I just anyway, it wasn't prepared. I didn't have it well thought out, but I would like to come back to this at some point throughout this on this platform, because anyway, it's
no doubt.
It's fascinating stuff. And again, I think our perspectives are needed in this discussion. That's all.
Go ahead. To Tierney's point regarding the whole, you said in regards to you look at social media as, you know, as counterinsurgencies, COINTELPRO, right? And I guess that the thing is, you know, the gift and the curse for myself is being around a lot of folks who were quote unquote attacked. I hate to say victims of counterinsurgency or COINTELPRO. You know what I mean? Learning from folks. So I don't, if I can't see you, I can't trust you. You understand what I'm saying? It's difficult with me just, you know, like I said, being on a platform, on a chat. Look, I don't know who you are in real life. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know what your intention is. And if you are loud enough, or if your words can be flipped around, you know, in a certain direction or whatever, then you have the ability and the power to lead some folks in the wrong direction. You understand what I'm saying? So I am certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that of course we have some folks that are in our midst when we're talking about just live broadcasts, who come on with the intention of misleading folks. And you know, part of counterinsurgency is you win them over, you get them to where you need to be, and then, you know, gradually mislead them, take them in the wrong direction. So no offense to anyone, it's just like, shit, you know, show me that work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hear what you're talking about, but show me that work.
Well, here come the one that gonna show you that work. And got his books and his Apple ready to do it, to check that work.
Teacher's pet.
Hey, you know what's funny? Because even dealing with definitely got to have this conversation. Even dealing with the whole race thing, when I do like super white weddings and I walk in, I know they're a little comfortable. They're a little comfortable, like, oh, somebody that's close to our skin complexion. You know what I'm saying? But then when I walk over to them, look them dead in the eye, with my confidence, squeeze their hand hard, they be like, oh, this dude is in disguise. He's this guy isn't the guy we thought he was. But yeah, it's definitely something that we definitely got to come back.
But there's something beyond the complexion point too, because there's some soft ass dark skinned folks that they love to have around. So there's something in there. There's something, I don't know what it is. There's like a vibe beyond the
look them dead in the eyes, and they're like, yo, this ain't your regular nigga. I'm telling you, it's a whole different face change and everything. That's what
yeah, I've never been to a super white wedding, so I can't really.
I mean,
I don't know.
I know.
I haven't been to any white weddings.
But as in just going into a whole nother corporate space, I do it a lot, and yeah, it's amazing how the looks I get. But
how the song go? It's a nice day for a white wedding. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, I gotta tell you, I ran into that dude once in New York City. He got out of limo, walking past a bar I was walking by. We were both drunk as hell.
Was it Tommy? What's his name?
Billy Idol. And
Billy
I
Idol.
said, Billy Idol. And he said, yes, mate. It's me, Billy Idol, mate. I said, I said, I'm as drunk as you. And then we kept it moving. That was about it.
Hey,
anyway,
before we get into the break, Tierney, what you got going on this week?
Just on WCC TV tomorrow we'll be doing our African news segment, so we'll get different stories coming from the diaspora.
No doubt.
Oh, and on Friday, my comrade Frank is going to be talking about Gaddafi and how he thinks that Russia's relationship with Gaddafi could be a partial reason for the West's reaction to him. So that's another thing to look out for.
Which Frank is this?
Frank Moba. He does videos also on We Trash Colonialism TV. He does them on Friday mornings. He does live streams.
Okay. Shout out to Frank. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
Big Frank in the building. I don't know if he's big
right,
Frank.
Well, go ahead and get into this break. I got a whole new segment for y'all, so let's do it. Right here on Black Comedy.
Only God knows.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and I have a new segment today called Past, Present, Future, which is going to deal with music. Today we're going to talk about hip hop. But before we get into all that, I know we're not big on the Grammys. We definitely do the Blammies over here on Black Power Media. But I do want to give a good shout out to my good friend DJ Drama, who just got a Grammy the other night with Tyler, the Creator. Went to college with this brother, got to see his come up. It was a beautiful thing. And also, I want to give a big shout out to my other brother who got nominated for the kids album, DJ Willie Wow. That's right. So big up to them for putting in that work. I love to see it and love to be a part of all that and everything. All right. So we're talking about past, present, future. All right. So who we going to talk about? Now, my first person I wanted to talk about, who was an artist that was in the past. These are albums I would like for y'all to check out. If y'all haven't, go check them out. They're pretty dope albums. I'm just going to give you all the dope ones. So let's start off with the past. Let's go to no other than Just Ice. That's right. He put out an album called Cool and Deadly. It's his second album by the hardcore rapper Just Ice. It was released in 1987 and was produced by KRS-One and Just Ice. That's right. This album was selected as one of the Sources magazine's 100 best rap albums. No doubt. So that's what that was. So check that one out. Next, I want to go to the present. The present, we're going to go over to Joey Badass. That's right. Joey Badass had an album called All American Badass. It's the second studio album by the rapper. It was released in 2017, and he has features on there with Schoolboy Q, J. Cole, Styles P, and Chronix. Very dope album. Brother spit some nice conscious lyrics. I love it. Now let's go to the future. This future artist who dropped the album is very dope. My son actually put me on to him. This goes by the name of Denzel Curry. He has an album called Melt My Eyes. See Your Future. It's his 5th studio album. It was released March 25th, 2022. So, yo, this dude right here, he's from Florida, too. I was surprised because the brother got some old school Pete Rock type production beats, and he's spitting on some consciousness at the same time, some ratchetness. So I love both of those. But that's what it is right here. That is past, present, and future. Right here on the Remix Morning Show. Now let's get back to the team. Now we do.
Past, present, and future.
Future.
Shout out to Just Ice, Latoya.
Latoya.
They don't know about that right there. They don't know about Just Ice. Just Ice and Bumpy Knuckles should make a comeback. What you think, Jared?
Oh,
first of all, I don't think Bumpy Knuckles needs to make a comeback. He just dropped a new album.
Okay.
He has stayed productive.
Okay.
He has stayed productive. Even did a classic joint about, I want to say 10 years ago. It's probably not that old, but with KRS, he's been constantly, you know, he produces. So yeah, but I would love to hear more from Just Ice. I would love to hear more from Bump Knucks. So why not have them?
We need to get them on the platform
and get busy.
Good. That would be good. And I'm gonna do this with all the different genres of music. You know how we do. We don't just stay hip hop, but yeah, I just want to put people on to different albums they should check out if they haven't. To me, albums are like books. Go check that book out. That's what it is.
Man, it's thundering like crazy over here. My bad.
And here the Remix Morning Show. I'll catch y'all next break. Peace.
Yes.
Right on. So we just upgraded. What's up, Erica?
Hello.
E Brown, what's happening?
E Boogie.
Can y'all hear me today?
Okay.
Yep.
She crisp. What's good with you?
Well, you know, I've been doing a lot of things. We messed around and had spring break, so that was good. And then I was in Atlanta over the weekend with my husband. And
I hope you met up with some of the folks. We was running like rampant, so we got some apologies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow!
You know,
hey fam, my weekend was crazy work, man. So you know, so I'm sure that you hooked up with the team. Oh Lord!
Oh wow!
It's okay. We had a nice time. You know, we were brunching and such, so we had a nice time.
Right on. See that's horrible. Now Jed's looking at us like, I can't believe some BPM folks came to Atlanta and you all didn't connect with them.
All I'm saying, if you would come to the DMV, we'd have had lunch or something.
Red carpet would have been rolled out.
I don't know about all that, but there'd have at least been a lunch.
Don't believe the
hype. It's all good though. It's all good.
We owe you for sure. You know what I'm saying? My apologies, man. You know, it was crazy this weekend, man. But definitely glad to see you on board the remix this morning.
Hold up, she ain't call me.
Look, you just finished telling us how you had a wedding that was out till 3 a.m. Please stop it.
Hey, and then dipped off real quick. Tells us you didn't call me. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, on the last meeting, and we're not going to talk about meeting politics on here, I believe that the ear doctor was the first one told, yes, come on down. We have such and such and this and that. And he's going to talk about he wasn't there. I'm ashamed of you, ear doctor.
Well, look, I did not call him. But here's the thing. I think I'm used to, I'm from Texas. I'm from Houston. So I'm used to a different kind of welcoming, right? Wow. And so I think y'all didn't do it like what I'm used to. I was like, oh, they just don't want
to. So
they don't want to hang out.
Pass the gat a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's all good though.
Hey, Jared, what is she talking about? Houston hospitality when you talking about Bushwick Bill? I've seen Bushwick Bill's hospitality out here in ATL. R.I.P. Bushwick Bill.
Why you gotta bring Bushwick into this? He ain't done nothing to nobody.
I'm just talking about Houston. That's all we talk about, right? Ain't nobody saying nothing. Anyway.
So before we get to some of the stories that Erica put together for us, if I did, so the other day I was interviewed for some podcast on MSNBC about cryptocurrency. And in fact, Erica, they had seen me talking about it on Brokish and invited me to do a version of what I did there. So shout out to Brokish. And it was interesting. So anyway, I'll be interested to see what the podcast sounds like when it comes out. They're interviewing me and several other people, but in preparing for that interview, I came across this story, or in sort of a follow-up to that interview. I came across this story that was published not long ago, talking about the first quarter of 2022. And I just wanted to point out that, as I said here in this tweet, despite all the cryptoganda telling us about all of the decentralization, in just one quarter, one exchange, that is Coinbase, made $2.2 billion just from transaction fees. So just from people signing up and getting a wallet, just from people selling something or buying or putting, or even when you, which is most of what the transactions are on these exchanges, just moving your Bitcoin from one of your wallets to another one of your own wallets counts as a transaction for which fees occur. And then there are a whole list of different fee structures for buying, for selling, when you cash all the way out, depending, all these different things. And so just 1/4 from one of these exchanges, the number one exchange in this country, Bitfinex is the largest in the world, 2.2 billion in 1/4 just from transaction fees. So I don't, all this stuff about we're getting rid of the banks and we're doing better than this and all of that. All you're doing is creating another centralized billionaire structure that has nothing to do with redistribution or improving the lives of people around the world. So anyway.
So we're in the wrong line of work. Is that what you're trying to say, brother?
Clearly. I mean,
Bitcoins.
like Bill Black, the economist, wrote in his book, the best way to rob a bank is to own one. So the best way to rip off crypto is to own an exchange. And to Leah's question about how many wallets you need, as many as you think you need to keep your money hidden and moving around, and as many as and they're happy to have you create them, because every time you create a wallet, like your boy Hill Harper tells us to do, somebody's getting paid.
Jared, you just messed me up because you said you quoted Bill Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the ill thing about that is where I'm from, I actually know a cat named Billy Black, and he's actually down in Florida serving time for robbing banks.
Oh gosh.
So that's why the white Bill Black said the best way to do it is to own one, because then you don't end up locked up. But
shout out to my man Billy Black. He got about 30 more left. You know what I'm saying? So he should have read Bill Black book. But see, that's see how they treat the different Bill Blacks. If you black Bill Black,
the black Bill Black gets locked up.
Yeah. It's my man's
doing what the white Bill Black says is better done when you own the joint.
He clearly he didn't read the book. But anyway.
The crypto thing is just still so sad for me. Every time I hear these stories, and not just because they've propped up this new intermediary, right? So now instead of the bank, you've got Coinbase, and it's the same kind of thing. You got somebody in the middle making money. But just a personal reflection of my own, I have a family member who, just like everybody else during the pandemic, was inundated with all of the messages about how you're going to get rich from crypto and all of those things, right? So this family member of mine wanted to jump into the game, and because they didn't have the money to do that, they got a personal loan. So they got a personal loan that literally has a 23% interest rate on it to turn around and invest in crypto. And so we also know that, and by the time this family member did this was when Bitcoin specifically was on its downward spin that it's on right now. So they invested, they now have this 23% loan and can't cash out because they're down probably about 20%. So it's just, there are real stories behind that $2 billion.
You said 23%. I mean, that right there is robbery. I mean, I'm just saying, man, you could have went to a cat in the hood and got a loan that'd have been less than that, man. I mean, like,
could have gone to the.
I would have gave it to you. You could have made a phone call.
But part of my point and why I keep talking about the cryptoganda is because of, unfortunately, comments like this one from Word from the Point. This idea that the crypto is better than the fiat currency when it comes to inflation or whatever. And there's many reasons why this comment is flawed, if not fully wrong, starting with the fact that you can always use gold, or not always, but you can at the moment and for the foreseeable future use gold and silver to actually buy something, unlike crypto.
You have to get
but there are many other reasons why that comment is wrong. But that's sort of the point I'm getting at. So to be fair to even your family member, the messaging that is particularly targeting Black and brown communities is more pernicious and leading to this kind of mistaken belief in the positiveness, in the positive potential of these investments. They're speculative, and their only value is when someone comes in behind you and invests to boost what you've purchased. So anyway, but yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
but that's one of the reasons why I'm so interested in this cryptoganda piece. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I know a lot of people, especially our friends in the chat, get sick of you because of your love of crypto, but I appreciate it because it really is, you know, people talk about digital redlining all the time. It really is just a new form of that for us because, you know, we're a lot of times the targets for that.
Oh, check it out. Word from the point. You're hitting all my buzzwords. Financial literacy. That's the phrase, you know. That's when you know that the hustle is on. When people talk about financial literacy. That's so anyway, go check our work. Go check my work. You could go check. Just go check.
And
anyway,
you know that going back to the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Going back with Dave Delgado when he's selling the real estate.
Real estate.
Hey, I actually bought back in 87. I bought this collection. It was like $300 something from this cat, Dave Delgado, and he was trying to tell you how to get rich on the whole real estate game. So he had this was before the CDs and DVDs, cassette tapes, and all that type stuff. And it was crazy because I thought that it was about to go down. We was reading Inc. magazine and all these other little mags and all that type shit. And it's crazy because just like what you said, man, the hustle, it always exists, but it just changed forms. So they're always looking for some new improved bullshit to push down your throat. And you know, and I guess it's designed for folks who don't believe that this system will fall. It's not might fall. It's not could fall. I mean, it's gonna happen. And it's like,
well, worse than that. And Emma, send me a link, please. Definitely put me up on it. But the problem though, Kalonji, is that they think they understand that it's going to fall and that crypto is going to be what protects them when it does. Oh, and that's part of that cryptoganda. That I mean, like if you listen to these cats, like they really believe like that they know what's up. Like that they're politically educated. They know the history. They know the history of the currency now that they've read the same bullet points about the history of the downfall of fiat currencies that you read in so many of these blog posts. But then they think, well, because I'm now investing in Bitcoin, when it collapses, like Kalonji says, I'll be ready. It's like it's they really think that they're involved in some sort of survival preparedness, and that's part of, again, the messaging that I think is.
And that's the part right there that you're saying, man. It's like it's tricky and it's trippy because, you know, if you're really thinking about survival and preparedness, that's the last thing you're thinking about. I mean, you're not like, oh, let me make sure my portfolio is on point. You know what I'm saying? You're like, let me get this go bag. Let me make sure that I got some water and make sure I got 3 days worth of food at least. You know what I'm saying?
And in their go bag, they got a little USB drive with their crypto on it. Talk about I'm safe.
Looking for the internet.
Hey, but look, and I'm glad to see this picture. Thanks again to Erica for hooking us up with these stories. I'm glad to see this picture, but this is of Chris and them popping bottles with this Amazon unionization victory. But this is where the crypto folks need to be putting their energies. Like, I think more of us need to be putting our energies around unionization efforts, organized labor, organization, period. That's the real hedge against the collapse of Western civilization, not speculative assets.
But the goals aren't the same. Like I think
I'm sorry.
When you think about the cryptogandist folks, the goals are capitalism, right? When you're talking about folks who are after unionization, hopefully their goals are different, and capitalism isn't a goal.
Well, I don't know, man.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, nah. I mean, there are no absolutes. You know what I'm saying? You have, you know, I'm somewhat shocked and surprised and amazed on a daily with whatever level of propaganda comes out and how our people jump for it, you know. But I was just gonna say, definitely shout out Jared, not to cut that bill, for bringing Chris Smalls on here, you know, and talking about what was going on and actually seeing it through. That's the beauty of BPM. when you can actually report about certain situations and then you see the victory down the line. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's this or a political prisoner being released, someone's campaign being financed, whatever the situation is, it's always good to be able to see, the victory. So definitely salute to you, Jared, for bringing Chris Smalls on.
This is what we're here for, and it was great to have him on. Look to have him on again, and more like him. I definitely want to do more of that. But and I'm glad that they got this victory, and I hope that even though it says here that this is the first and only of the 110 Amazon warehouse centers to be unionized, that this will be the domino that starts the chain effect. And supports others in other industries and other parts of the economy to do the same. I think we need to all of that. I'm for all of the unionization, general strikes, all of that kind of stuff to challenge what's going on here. So shout out to them and congratulations, and many more victories I hope are coming.
No doubt. One thing, if I could say a couple things about the Amazon thing that so I've heard a lot of people talking about, and when I say a lot of people, probably I'm talking a lot about white feminists, mostly who I've seen, are like, don't we know that unionization efforts are more than a single person? And why are we giving so much airtime to this man, Chris Smalls? Why are we elevating him when we know that it took an army of people behind him? So I thought that was really interesting, because I think intuitively we all know that in order for a unionization effort to work, you have to have the people. Like, that's the whole point of the unionization effort. But just sort of like these small jabs and sort of the slight demonization of him has not been good to see. So that's one thing that's been interesting. And then I don't know him, so I didn't see him when y'all had him on the show, but internally, from some of the messages that have been leaked, you can see how the Amazon executives really expected to use this respectability piece against him, right? Like, he's not articulate, look at him. And I love how he just shows up authentically, right? So he shows up and he's like, I'm popping bottles, I got my fronts in, I'm using TikTok, I'm having cookouts, I'm doing all of these things that I would probably be doing anyway in my everyday life, but I'm using them to enhance my life and the lives of those around me. And so I just love that part of the story.
And that's the beauty of it right there. Just the authenticity. You know what I'm saying? And when you are authentic, you're going to run up against opposition that look like you or don't look like you. You know what I mean? So shout out to all the white feminists that you talking about. Y'all can go to hell, gasoline draws, because anyone, like you said, when you talk about organization, there has to be a spark. There has to be that thought. And, so, we give credit to all the workers that make the machine move, but we also can't forget those who suffer in order for certain things to come about. Because
but it's also
suffering. Right.
Yeah. But the other part missing from first of all, I'm glad I didn't see any of that criticism. I don't need that level of stress in my life. But the other part that I don't hear in that criticism that doesn't seem to be even acknowledged is that a lot of times the person being interviewed is there on behalf of the organization. They are sent by the organization. So we've seen this happen historically with some more prominent civil rights and human rights figures. They get blamed for wanting the spotlight when people don't understand that they were put there by the organization to represent for the organization. So if we reach out, as I have done, and I know others have done, and I'll shout out, I got to shout out Status Quo. I don't mean, no disrespect to our Black nationalist effort here, but Status Quo is an outlet. I'm no friend of theirs, we're no whatever, but in terms of these white alternatives, they actually seem to do the alternative work, and they're frontline reporting on this more than anybody. But when I've reached out, the response is, we want to get you Chris. Let's help get you in touch with Chris, or you should reach out to Chris directly. It's not, so and then fresh out of his mouth, first off his mouth is reference to the women specifically by name, including and I'm forgetting her name. I don't know her name. The sister that died prominently. She was one of the prominent activists who died having being forced by Amazon to care or to check her coworkers when none of them had proper equipment, and that led to her getting ill and then passing away in her sleep. But he bigs them up, he lifts them up. So I mean, that's always, people who are outside of struggle and organization seem to often not understand that the person in front of the camera is often there because they've been put there by the organization. So anyway,
it's work, and it's a machine, and it's important because, like you said, because even with us, when we talk about organizing, you're not just going to put the microphone or camera in front of just anybody's face. They'll look at you like you're crazy, because we've done interviews and they'll try to go to what they consider the weakest link. You know what I mean? Or like in my case, oftentimes they'll go to the cat who looked like he knows what he's talking about. Let me go talk to the attorney. Oh, no, you got to speak to that guy over there. Oh, that's the guy that cussed me out last time. Yeah, he's going to cuss you out this time too if you go over there. But that, I mean, and it's by design. And it has to be that
because you're supposed to have the engagement with the media is supposed to be organized, and it's supposed to have a line. You don't just put people out there who are going to say whatever. No. Riot starter notwithstanding, but the point is you have a line and an agenda to represent. So that's the point. And shout out to the late Damu Smith. I mean, he's the first one to really teach me about that and put us in media training. Here is the Black Voices for Peace line on Israel and Zionism. Now, can you break it down in 1 minute? Can you say it in 30 seconds? And can you say it in a 5-second soundbite when NBC News just wants to put a mic in front of your face and get that one drop? Are you going to have the right drop? So it's all like, anyway, so that's a real frustrating, in addition to just the white feminist commentary in general, that's just a real particularly frustrating line. That's whack as hell. But it comports with this. It sounds like, Erica, it fits with the logic in terms of disrupting the effort here that you pulled up for us in terms of Amazon hiring a Democratic pollster to fight the union drive.
Staten Island Union Drive. So you already know what kind of pollster was out there for that.
How much did they get paid to lose?
Oh wow. But anyway, for me, the issue is, here's the Democratic Party again, and I get it. It's in the guise of an individual pollster, but it's them popping up again to disrupt the efforts and not support the efforts, which seems again consistent with the party itself. Anyway,
it is, and it makes me think about some of the efforts. There was a news story yesterday from Howard Schultz, the CEO or founder of, I don't know if he was the founder of Starbucks. Y'all will tell me. But anyway, Howard Schultz over at Starbucks. And he was on a video yesterday talking about how the threat of unions is sort of like a threat to the success of Starbucks. And you have all of these prominent people. Right. And at one point, folks were like propping him up to actually run for political office in the Democratic Party. And then now you see him as a leader in Starbucks saying, whoa, we can't have this unionization thing. And that's why for me, there are no friends in the Democratic Party. Like it just can't exist, because these are the sorts of things that they do.
Because they want that Amazon money to fund their campaigns. So, but look, anyway, we'll obviously continue to support Amazon and all unionization efforts, Amazon workers, that is, and all unionization efforts. But someone we got to get to here who is always down for the people, and so much so he's on stage, center stage,
unionizing white weddings.
Hey, you know what's funny? When I charge them what I charge them, they don't blink.
They don't blink.
See, here you go.
Okay.
Just saying.
Shout out to Jimmy.
We're gonna talk about why Black people don't have the wealth to support you in that way,
Doctor.
We're not gonna do that.
What you trying to say, brother? What you saying, man?
I'm just saying they don't blink, they don't complain.
We got locked out of the wealth
they let
to
you
be able to do
DJ
that
without coming up and asking, could you play this, that, and the third that's on the radio?
Nah, I love my
white people. You know how it is, but it is what it is. But anyway, nice. Erica, we was partying out to like 3 a.m. Friday. If you would have called, you would have been with us in the club popping bottles.
I'm asleep by 10, but thank you.
No doubt. I had to take a huge nap the next day. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to this next artist spotlight right here on Black Power Media.
Yes, yes.
All right, everybody. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and at this time, we are going to do a artist spotlight. On who am I talking about? No other than a brother of mine who goes by the name of Ekendayo. So this song right here I'm about to play is called Life or Death. So please make sure y'all go and follow this brother and check it out. And you might see somebody you've seen in this video before. So let's go ahead and get to it right here, right now. All right. Check this out. Life or Death, Ekendayo. Bam. Let's go.
Snakes crushed beneath feet, brush like teeth, squeak, clock cleaning, shocking demons. I'm like shocker demons, dropping schemers while I'm copping sneakers. I'm on top, reach up. I'm like black jeans, you cannot stop the features. Spitting raps mean since back on the bleachers. I'm as black as Jesus, hyperbole, superbly spit. You high urgently observing these scripts. I'm like the nerve of these pricks, I serve them in dip. You gotta make a choice, yeah, life or death. You hear the voice, what I spit on this mic is fresh. Crush the strife and stress. We came to spray the whole spot, right to left. Landing on the snare, spitting words to the kicks. My medium is rare, that's word to the kicks. I'm on a roll like urban and spliff. Superb is a twist, how I swerve is a gift. What you observing is bliss. The true and living urban myth, I exist. So go ahead with your campfire ghost stories. For you damn liars, there's no glory. Plus your flow corny. Don't bore me with another bar. I'm puffing something from a fucking jar. You gotta make a choice, yeah, life or death. You hear the voice, what I spit on this mic is fresh. Crush the strife and stress. We came to spray the whole spot, right to left. Leave them cut and scarred. In fact, the impact could crush a car. The Godfather like a stuffed cigar. From my head top to my foot bottom that touch the tar. Blessed from the heavens, I'm touching stars. That stardust like blunt ash. Getting it off the clothes is such a task. The mountain lion are coming, pronouncing rhymes to the drumstick. Beat the beat till it's punished. To leave you ended is intended, like the pun is. You gotta make a choice, yeah, life or death. You hear the voice, what I spit on this mic is fresh. Crush the strife and stress. We came to spray the whole spot, right to left. Meet me at the summit to sum it up. One to your face, then one to your gut. Don't make me have to shatter your glass feces, rap VCs. Check the itinerary. I've been flying heavy, no hidden inquiry. Trust I live it up my G. The liberty is strong with this one. You Padawan, draw pictures so vividly with a song like I had a wand. Cause my hands are pen, man, in fact my hands are bomb. You gotta make a choice, yeah, life or death. You hear the voice, what I spit on this mic is fresh. Crush the strife and stress. We came to spray the whole spot, right to left.
All right, there you go. Like I said, once again, go check out Ekendayo. Dope music, dope lyricist. And I got to be in the video. So that's what it is. Right here on Black Power Media. Let's go back to the show. All right. Yeah.
Yes,
that was
nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ekendayo. Ekendayo is one of the dopest lyricists and MCs out here in the ATL area. You'd also catch him in the Rafa Siafu video, him and my man El Sun in the background. You know what I mean?
In all the videos.
Super dope. Super dope.
Come to Black Power Media.
That's right. That's right.
Power,
and
all up in the video.
Hold on. And I gotta shout out the producer of the video as well. My man Vaughn Saber. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he is.
I didn't know y'all was some video vixens.
Yeah,
I love
Saber
it.
is the co-director of Organizing is the New Cool, the cat that directed that joint. So yeah, so we got a whole extended family in that joint. Good job, Ear Doctor in the background was throwing
No
his
doubt.
bones up.
And somebody in the chat, you know how we do. Somebody in the chat said, "Yo, what does Ear Doctor do? I am a professional DJ, and yes, I am like Tommy. I ain't got no job, but I always talk about I do. I ain't had a job in. I think I had like 2 jobs in my life. Crazy. But anyway, that's what it is. Catch y'all
Wow,
next.
congratulations.
Shout out to the Ear Doctor for his 2 jobs in his life.
Hey,
all right. Now
I'm trying to find my there's a book I have of speeches from a 19th century Marxist called the Right to Be Lazy. I need to get that book out again and start reading it again.
You need to follow the NAP ministry.
The NAP ministry?
Yeah, you know the NAP ministry?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a whole platform on, you know, rest and restoration and, you know, not killing yourselves through work.
Okay, right. A book, somebody should have gave that to our enslaved ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Because that could have came in handy, you know, but definitely.
No doubt.
Definitely. It's called a NAP ministry, you said? NAP?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sound like something I can get with a nice nap right about now. But anyway.
Speaking of going to sleep or being put to sleep, Monique and Lee Daniels have mended their relationship.
Oh wow!
So we can get some more sleep-inducing media content from them as they re-collaborate and come back out. And I wonder if, because isn't Lee Daniels doing the remake of The Spook Who Sat by the Door? And I think it's being shot in Baltimore.
Is it?
I don't know.
I believe so.
That's blasphemous, man. I mean that is like such a criminal act. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I mean, come on, man. You know, and I think that I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so they mended their shit. I guess he didn't want Monique to be the Will Smith of the program and come up there and slap the pee out of him. I don't know. Maybe that was the.
I'm not sure what would cause the change of heart, but if you know, but I am unfortunately more aware of this story than I'm proud of. And I'm in general in support of Monique in the sense that because she refused to promote the film Precious, for which she agreed to appear for I think only like $50,000. But she wouldn't promote it for free. Lee Daniels, in other words, she wouldn't fly to Europe and do the whole promotional thing and all that for free. Oprah, Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, I'm sorry, that's right, started a whisper campaign against her, saying that she's difficult and and despite winning an Oscar, which should have been the next, you know, stepping stone for her career, that was basically the end. So he apparently went on stage and apologized and acknowledged that he did that. And as Ear Doctor reminds us in the chat, 50 Cent put pressure on them to stand up. Now, you know, all that said, I don't, you know, I'm not, never was the biggest fan of Monique, and I don't think that the work that she produces is, you know, thrilling in any way, but I just certainly didn't think that she deserved all of that. And anybody that goes on stage and cusses Oprah out is definitely going to get a thumbs up from me. So,
So here's the thing for me related to this whole story. Now I'm going to put Monique's respectability politics to the side because she has a lot of it. You know, she's anti-bonnets.
Don't wear your bonnet.
Right. And, you know, I'm pro bonnet in places if that's what you like to do. But I do appreciate the fact that she's very principled, right? So Monique is just like, right is right to me, and you apologize, and then we can move on from this. And I do think there is space for people to learn from these actions in terms of stand on your square and then, you know, believe in what you believe in, you know, and then let them come and apologize, and then we're ready to move forward. So I appreciate that. She seems like she can. She's not holding grudges necessarily, but she's like, until you do the right thing, then we're going to keep this going. And I like that. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate how that looks from the outside.
The thing I do not like about Monique, I don't like, and I haven't been able to shake it, was I heard an interview with her one time, and they were talking about, it was during the whole when blood diamonds was, being pushed and promoted and so on and so forth. She got in an interview. They asked her about the whole blood diamond situation, and she said, I hear y'all, but I'm gonna wear my diamonds.
Oh, wow.
So in my mind, I've always been like, forever fuck you. And I don't care about whether Lee Perry, Lee Daniels, or whoever the hell got a beef with you. My beef, I took that personal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just like, the whole, if you're gonna wear your diamonds, then shut the fuck up and wear them, but don't try to, like, I hear what y'all talking about, but I'm aware. I mean, I wasn't, that shit hit me kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? I felt that. So, so I've never, from that point on, I totally lost whatever respect I had for her. So, it's just me.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Again, I'm not holding her up as an icon. I'm just saying she was right on that issue. And again, I'm a sucker for anybody that's going to cuss out Oprah on stage. So I was like, yes. Anyway, but I was just going to say, the only time I saw Monique, I did see Monique perform live when she was hosting live at the Apollo. Which was an interesting experience, because it's always interesting to see TV productions from live in the studio, because it's very different than what comes out on the TV screen. And I always remember that because that night, because the white girl that came out, a little white girl came out to sing and got booed off the stage, and Monique and the whole other production whatever said, we got to reshoot that. Because they felt bad for the girl. So they had the girl come out, sing again, and then everybody pretended to applause. And that was the version that went on TV. And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, this is so many contradictions involved in this. But including, why would you as parents send your child up there like that at the Apollo?
Well,
anyway,
Jared, can I for 1 second? So when we were on spring break, we went to New York. And so one of the things that we did was they started doing amateur night at the Apollo again. So they just kicked it back up after a couple years with the pandemic and everything. So I was literally just there a few weeks amateur night at the Apollo, and shout out to them. We had a great time, but they told us in the rules that you couldn't boo the kids. So in our rules, so maybe they've changed since then.
They must have changed it, because she got booed. I mean, people stood. She was terrible. And that's what I was saying. Like, I know parents have blind spots, but one, you got to know what's up. And then you got to know the stage you're putting her on. I was like, the parents should have been like, whatever. But people stood up, were like, boo. Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah. And I used to go I used to go to the Apollo all the time because, like I said, I was like 45 minutes away from Harlem. So we just go up there just to check out the shows and shit. And, your ass to get booed. They didn't care, you was a child, a kid, like whatever. Get your ass up on this stage, you get got. Especially your little white girl.
They soft now, huh?
Yeah, they be like, come here, little white girl.
Soft.
Everybody gets a trophy now, huh?
No, everybody did not get a trophy. But there is the rule, you cannot boo the children. But they were all good the night I was there, so nobody would have gotten booed.
Yeah,
I just think everybody should. I think they should. I don't know how I feel about that. I just think, again, the parents should know. You should know if your child is Apollo stage worthy and not set them up.
It's like if you ever been in the studio with, like, if you got the homeboy that's a rapper or a singer and shit, and you was in the studio with them, and they sucked, but y'all cool. They buying all the liquor, the beer, the weed, and all that, and all of a sudden they come up with some shit that's not as bad as the 30 last joints that you heard.
How about that?
You know what I'm saying? He's like, okay, this is it right here, even though it's trash. That's how it is with some of these parents, man. It's like, look, I know that's your child. Goddamn well they can't sing, man. Stop playing with me, man.
Damn well,
you know what I'm saying? Stop playing.
And I see him on the soccer field. Goddamn well your child should be out here playing no goddamn soccer.
Yeah, and my kids are booty. My children would be like,
everybody's time out here.
Yeah.
Look, as the mother of somebody who is terrible on the field, I resent that.
Hey, man.
Look, my baby needs some exercise too. Be quiet.
That's what I'm just
hope
saying.
Your baby's not watching the show.
Yeah.
As a parent of somebody who's terrible.
there's
That
other
sounds
ways.
encouraging.
Right, I know, right? Damn, Erica. My child sucks, but they deserve exercise. No,
My child got
let
One
me tell you how my kid is on the soccer field. This literally happened. Just 2 weeks ago, she made her first goal, right? She'd been on this team for 4 years. She made her first goal. The other parents yelled louder than we did. They were like, yes. It was like everybody's victory because the child is not good.
Well, that's good. But that's good because some parents can get really trifling and it can get real ugly out there.
And they will. And have your ass about ready to fight. Like, yo, man, mind your business. Yeah. I mean,
just or just like you're that hostile and angry at a 10-year-old soccer game. Like, chill.
Shout out to Daruba for me going to his son's games and him not agreeing with the coaches and whatnot.
Yeah, shout out to my father-in-law. I remember a couple of them too. Yeah, going to see him and his son play. Yeah, it can get real rough out there.
Man, you've never been to a game until you see Daruba gets banned from the stadium. I'm like, dude, what you bring me up here for? And we both got to stand outside. You know what I'm saying?
So we do need to have, speaking of Riot Starter specials, we need to have a special just on outings with Daruba. Like just in the streets with Daruba. Anyway, because I got a couple. I know you got plenty, and Daruba is he's Daruba all the time, man.
we could do an outing with the OGs all together, because you know what I'm saying. Because I mean, just OGs all together, man. Just riding in the car and just realizing, like, with some of these elders and these OGs, how much in tune they are with what's going on at that particular moment. You know what I'm saying? I remember riding with some OGs that put me on to 50 Cent. We bumping 50 Cent like down the highway and whatnot, man. Just like, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's we should do something like that. But
go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna say, speaking of things to talk about, I heard your man Elon Musk is bought into.
Pulling it up now.
Okay, let's talk about that.
This dude, so somebody go tweet out,
okay,
that Elon Musk has a larger stake in Twitter.
That's right, the largest stake, actually.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's now got the large. He's
more than Jack, because I think Jack only had like 2.5% or something like that.
Yes.
So Musk has now 9.2%.
Yes. Equivalent to 73,486,938 shares of Twitter common stock worth $2.89 billion. Woo! So
not bad for somebody who, if you go and look at the history, has conned his way.
Oh yeah,
to the top, so to speak. The man didn't have nothing to do with building or designing Tesla, and gets credit for that. Wow. He had nothing to do with PayPal, and somehow gets credit for that. I mean, it's slick how this dude has managed to present himself as this brilliant genius,
self-made too.
Self-made.
You remind me of some of these black dudes in the movement. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, taking credit, like, motherfucker, you weren't even there. You don't even know nobody that was there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So, but just
it wasn't for me, there'd have been no Dr. King.
Man, look here.
What do y'all think
put
about
Malcolm on the podium. I'm sorry.
What do you think about Elon Musk?
Yeah, what do y'all think about it? I mean, he has been critical of Twitter. He has been critical of social media in general, right? Like, he talks about from what I've seen, he thinks a lot of people are after him. He gets a lot of bad press. But for somebody, to me, who is very right leaning and has this big stake in Twitter, what do we think it all means?
He's white. So, you're white.
Besides the obvious, Kalani.
Yeah, you're rich and white, and that's just how it goes. I mean, of course, it reminds me, again, I'm gonna go back to 50 Cent. It reminds me of 50 Cent talking about Ja Rule singing all in his songs and shit. And then all of a sudden, when he smashes Ja Rule, then he starts singing on his records. So it's game. You know, so I mean, he was talking about starting his own social media outlet. So I guess he got with Jack and threw Jack some few ducats on the side, and then made this other purchase right here. And you know, here we are. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, but you know, shit.
And I don't know to what extent this how this exactly would work, but it could also be about first place in karate tournament.
That's it.
Right on, Ricky.
Shout out to young Ricky Ryan. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Kicking ass and taking names out there.
Yeah, all our kids did well. My daughter scored a big goal this weekend. You know what I mean? You know, all of that stuff. So, you know, yeah. Anyways, it was which is great. So I know it feels good when you see your children, you know, do well. That's wonderful.
No doubt.
But I honestly, you know, I don't know exactly how it would work, but I might assume that if Musk is seeing the rising prominence of Twitter and the ability to shape narratives with Twitter and the ability to ban people from Twitter, maybe this is a self-promotional but self-protectionist move on his part. He certainly knows how he can manipulate stock value by saying certain things. So maybe he's, you know, looking at it for that. Now he can boost the value of his own property when he starts saying something about Twitter or on Twitter. Who knows? I don't know. To me, that what it really means is we live in a society where again, we're being told new technology is improving upon past tech and social relationships, but all we're seeing is an increased consolidation of power, an increased consolidation of the dominance of these social media platforms, and really just a handful of them. And then who knows what he has in mind for Twitter going forward? Is it going to be, you know, with Twitter expanding into the you know the Clubhouse type space with Twitter? Maybe are they going to get into the metaverse stuff? I mean, who knows what he has, you know, and why he might be seeing. Anyway, but to me, it's for the rest of us, it just speaks to a bigger problem of our media and communicative environment and who controls it and how much influence they have over all of our conversations and narratives and news, etc.
Yeah, I mean, look at it for what it is. I mean, it's control. It's you know, advancing the corporation. When I'm talking about the corporation, I'm talking about the U.S. And I think that we, in some strange way, pretend that the corporations don't run the country. You know what I'm saying? Which run the world. So indeed, I don't look at these guys as just some rich white dudes. These are the quote unquote politicians. You know what I'm saying? These are the selected officials. They weren't elected. When you talk about, I mean, we're playing this big ass game, talking about vote for this one, vote for that one, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, these guys are paying to play. Look, we're gonna put Jerry. I see what the numbers say on there, but Dr. Ball is going to be the new president. You know what I'm saying? So you got folks like him and Bezos and so many others that's trying to control all they can see. You know what I'm saying? Literally from
now. Remember, they would pick me because I have the white parent.
You definitely can, but they're not gonna pick you though, Jared, because you know you didn't know when to shut up. You supposed to.
No, but even from their own documents, even the white side of my family is considered too radical for these fools. So all the surveillance they've gotten too. So, but I just couldn't help but go back.
Just don't be calling us talking about, look, guys, we have an offer on Black Power Media.
Hey,
Elon Musk wants to.
If he'll sell out for cola, you think he won't sell out to Elon?
It only took a 4% cola that has already been wiped out due to inflation. So even with that wiping out, I sold out. So if Elon shows up, hey, we might have to have a conversation
between him and Kamal, man. I don't know.
when you click on the YouTube channel one morning, it says Musk Media.
Yeah. I can see that. Musky. I'm locked out the account. So what the fuck is going on here? I see that happening, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then you'll see me cussing on the joint. We'll have a flashback from when we had the whole when we was doing the what was we? I was about to call it injection, the vaccination beef. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, but I bet that merch will be hot, and that new studio will be fly. Musky Media, Musky Media, right there.
I don't know about Musky Media, man.
Leah got it. Look at it. It reads well.
Man,
the little joint, the alliteration. Elon Entertainment. Who put that? Wait. Yeah. Get that. Yeah, Elon Entertainment. I like that one.
Y'all wildin', man. Y'all wildin'. Anyway,
that's what's up.
How much we talking?
Yeah. I don't
exactly.
You're not gonna say I got some new turntables.
Y'all making the light skins look bad. Y'all the first ones selling out. Stop it. You and
Quick,
need to calm down.
I'm trying to tell y'all.
You know what it is? Ones
in line.
Yeah.
That's why it says the darker the berry, the more the resistance to temptation.
Yeah, and the longer the gun.
And the longer the gun. There it is.
Yes.
I got something I want to talk about if I can talk about it.
Please do.
Please do.
To Atlanta. I mean,
unleavened. Mama's unleavened pancakes. That's messed up.
Wow.
That's terrible.
And I hope you meant that, because that works. Wait a minute, real quick. Sorry, Erica, but that works on so many levels. Because and I hope Leah, I'm gonna give Leah credit on this, because my mama's a Jew, and Jews do the unleavened bread. You know what I'm saying? So that's slick. That's slick, Leah. That's slick.
Oh, Passover punchline.
Okay, Passover, you said. And aren't we about to get there? Or did we do that already?
It's coming up, my Jewish friend.
It's coming up. Yeah, Easter and Passover on the same.
Mazel tov. Yeah. Anyway. What was you talking about, Erica, before we get banned?
Oh, I was. This is where I'm doing my shameless plug, because so on Brokish, our shows come out on the 1st and the 15th. So on April 1st, we were already planning to do a show about hair, right? So we were planning to do a show about Black hair, and then the whole Oscar thing erupted, so it kind of all these worlds collided. But just shout out to the show and what we're talking about in the show, which of course is Black hair and all the things that go on with being more specifically a Black woman and the hair and all the things. But there was like a week or two ago, y'all was talking about, the ear doctor, talking about how he doesn't like, he doesn't mess with the Black women that get perms and all this other kind of stuff.
And I didn't hear that show though, Erica.
Huh?
He didn't hear your latest show though, Erica.
He did. You back. So my question is, ear doctor, how do you know? Because a lot of people think I have one. I ain't had one in 15 years. I ain't had a perm. But so I'm like, you doing follicle checks? Like how you know?
Yeah. I mean, I just prefer women with natural nappy hair. I get it. Sometimes, they rock a wig just like we wear a hat when we don't get a haircut. So you don't know, but I mean, you can see the kitchen in the back sometimes.
It's not about to get Will Smithed.
That's just a preference, because I don't want to deal with, possible in the future dealing with cancer, the brain. And it's somewhat like a mentality. I want to deal with somebody that's, I don't know. I'll leave it there. Go ahead, Erica.
Anyway, so in the show, we talk about it. And also in the show, Amber kind of makes it's not a revelation for me because I know her, but there's a revelation that she makes that's interesting if y'all want to check it out, because you just never know what people are going through. You never know why people make the choices that they make. Like I said on the show, I actually stopped getting a relaxer probably about 15 years ago almost. And it wasn't based on science or anything like that. I just had a miscarriage and I was like, what are all the things I can remove out of my life, even though there's, again, no science behind that. And I never got another one, but I do my hair like this because it's easy and Erica is lazy, right? I don't hate myself. I'm not trying to be a white woman. I go to the salon and then I don't comb it or do anything else to it after that. And that's just what it is for me. So if there's a politic behind it, it's that I'm lazy.
And so, I do like to, take showers, go swimming. And
me too.
You can't do that with certain sisters. You know what I mean? It's let's be honest and keep it 100. Certain sisters, like, I'm not touching that water and messing my hair up.
I I just think it's interesting that the men can talk a lot about the ladies and their hair and the respectability
Hold on.
Let
That's
me
the ear
finish.
doctor.
One
Ear
second.
doctor does not represent all men.
I'm
sorry,
not saying
right.
all. I didn't say all men. I said the men, the men's people. Even when brothers cut their hair low, a lot of that can be, you know, steeped in respectability politics and all of this from back when, but we just don't necessarily view it as such. So anyway, I thought it was just an interesting conversation, and yeah. So
I do want to co-sign that part. I like your. I listen to watch or listen to almost all of them, and I enjoy almost all of them. But that last show was, I thought, pretty powerful. You all got very open and honest and personal, beyond just hair. I mean, there was a lot going on in that conversation. So I would encourage everyone to check it out if they haven't already. And I would definitely like to hear Ear Doctor's response after he checks out the show. It was deep. It was deep.
I will do that. Erica, would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Yes. If his paper is longer, now I'm playing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you got tall paper, you could be a short man.
Y'all know I'm playing.
That's what I'm saying. It's about preferences. It's all about what you like and what you want to deal with. So, I ain't throwing no shade on nobody. Do your thug thizzle. It's just about your preference. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I respect that.
Definitely check out Brokish. I think Brokish is definitely a dope add-on. I appreciate the fact that you all go in all types of directions with the program. So, definitely, if you haven't checked out Brokish, you all should. And, Warrior Class, and shows like that, because I think that we have some real dope content, and, unfortunately, you end up missing out on some of this stuff. So definitely, jump on in and get with it. Yeah, don't be trying to put us all in the ear doctor. You see that Jared and I was quiet as church mouse.
Oh my goodness.
You know what?
Especially because I heard the show. I was like,
yeah.
Hey,
he didn't hear it. Right.
I guess that's why I'm single.
Oh,
I'm still looking for a nappy-headed vegan. It's a problem.
Wow.
Who doesn't mind short men?
Right.
That's like a narrow lane.
pretty damn.
Thread that needle, Ear Doctor. We believe in you, brother. We got your back.
That's right.
They out there.
That's right.
Hey, so listen. I know we got to run. I got to jump to my class. So shout out to all the remixers, to my BPM comrades. Yes. I appreciate everybody, and I look forward to tomorrow. Can't wait to next one.
And go back and check out those shows from yesterday, man. If you all missed it,
yeah, no doubt.
What was the name of the? I don't want to mess the title up.
Mine was Showdown for Nonviolence, taken from the title of MLK's work and the chapter from Loggins and Douglas's book, and then your conversation with Dr. Small is essential. People got to check that out.
Yeah, I hope you all do check both out, because again, I think that oftentimes the content is taken for granted. And I think that we really need to, do a deep dive on BPM. Even myself, because I miss some of the shows, and it's some real awesome things going on. So please join us.
And Brokish does have a playlist, Lisa. It's on the channel. Don't fret none. But yeah,
I mean, we in there. Yes. So anyway, same time,
everybody,
same station. Remix Morning Show. Mañana.